I've been trying to come up with some kind of snappy or quippy intro to set the stage for my review of this film. Maybe me from a past life could have come up with a real good one. Alright, before we get started, as always, a quick thank you to my patron over on Patreon, and if you enjoy the content I make and would like to offer your support for as little as $1 a month, you can get your name listed right here at the start of every video. Link to that is in the description below, and now, let's get into the actual review.
만약에 네가 한국을 떠나지 않았다면 내가 널 찾았을까? 우리가 사귀었을까? 헤어졌을까? 부부가 됐을까? 아이들을 가졌을까?
Past Lives tells the story of two childhood sweethearts, Nora and Hae-sung, who get separated when Nora immigrates from South Korea to the United States and eventually finds love. Nora and Hae-sung finally reunite 20 years after separating and ponder over the question, what if? This film has been getting a lot of praise since its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year, and everyone has been jumping over themselves and their grandma to praise nearly every single aspect of this film, with many pegging it as an early Oscar contender in many different categories, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, and Best Original Screenplay. And now, having seen the film, I can definitely see why, because this film is really, really good. Maybe I don't see it as quite the masterpiece level like some people are saying, but honestly, it's pretty darn close. Celine Song's direction in this is outstanding. So much so that you almost don't even believe that this is a directorial debut. Song's direction is informative without being flashy or unnecessarily drawing attention to itself. There's an excellent camera shot showcasing the two children saying their final goodbye to each other, with the young Nora ascending a flight of stairs on one side of the shot, while young Hae-sung stays at the level that he's at, but walking away off to the side. Nice little bit of symbolism there. Nice little touches like that are littered throughout the film, and give the story more meat. And the themes this film touches on include things like immigration and how it can affect your identity, especially when you do so at such a young age, and how it feels like how you almost have to become a brand new person when you immigrate. The concept of destiny and fate and being with the one as it relates to romance, or how bad timing can get in the way of a romance that could have blossomed. The idea that as we grow, we're no longer the same person that we were when we were younger, almost like it's from a past life. It's about what ifs and the what ifs within those what ifs. It's about nostalgia. It's about reconciling your culture of your homeland with the culture that you're currently in. I mean, there's a lot that you can really unpack with this film, and you can read into the subtext if you want to, or you can choose to watch this as a straightforward drama. It works either way. But the themes make the story feel so rich. Helping matters is that a lot of this film outright defies several cliches that one would expect for a film with this setup. For instance, the film not only doesn't ignore how Nora's husband feels about their reunion, it treats them as just as important as the emotions of the other two characters. They even talk about how in any other story, he'd be seen as the bad guy. But this isn't any other story. This film is a lot more grounded in reality. There aren't really straightforward good guys or bad guys, just people doing the best they can with what they've been given. Large credit goes to its excellent screenplay for that. The characters in this feel like real people, and the way they talk to each other feels like the way real people would talk to each other. And thankfully the performances are good enough to help with that. Yoo Tae-oh is good, albeit not great, as Hae-sung. You do genuinely feel the pain that his character feels. And the same goes to John Maguiro's performance as Arthur, as a character that you can also sense his pain, but in a different way when compared to Hae-sung. But the real scene stiller is Greta Lee's performance as Nora, a performance where you can feel just how conflicted she is, and as she struggles with these complex, unsaid emotions that they don't always outwardly express, but you can still feel. Don't be too surprised if she's in the conversation for the upcoming Best Actress race. Now, with all that being said, the one thing to take note of with this film before you buy yourself a ticket is that this is a pretty slowly paced movie. And there's going to be people who love how slow this film is and think that every single moment in this film is warranted. There's going to be people who hate slow-paced movies and think that the pacing here needed to be tightened up a lot. And then there's somebody like me who's a little bit in the middle, where I do enjoy the meditative slower flow and do appreciate some of those moments of silence, but I also acknowledge there's a couple of shots that do go on just a little bit too long and maybe could have been trimmed down. Maybe a little 4 to 5 minute trim would have benefited the film greatly here. The only thing about this film that genuinely annoyed me was the usage of the Diddy laugh sound effect during one of the scenes. Now, of course, some of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's basically a stock sound effect of 2 little kids laughing that has a really distinct sound, and it gets played in media a lot. And anytime it gets played, it instantly takes me out of the story. Now, this isn't going to be something that's going to be a negative to a lot of people, but it's something that I noticed, and it instantly took me out of the moment. It's a personal pet peeve of mine, especially for a film that's supposed to be a more grounded, mature drama. So yeah, that irritated me, but pretty much everything else about this film was spot on. This film took a very basic story and managed to make it feel so fresh and new. The script is fantastic, the performances are really good, especially Greta Lee, and the themes it touches on feel so rich and multi-layered. Past Lives gets an easy, full shot. For those wanting to look a little bit beyond the mainstream, this is an excellent starting point. It's quite accessible to mainstream audiences, but do not in any way mistake that as me saying this is dumbed down or unintelligent, because this is a gem of a movie. And I guess that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to see my early thoughts of any film I watch or to read more of my reviews, make sure to check out my Letterboxd account. The link to that is in the description below. And make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss any upcoming reviews. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.